Our next topic will be a bridge between a 5,000 years old maritime heritage and the 21st century community. Andreia, she is a director of Sesimbra Maritime Museum, and she is an archaeologist, the member of the board of Portugal Museology Association. She has been working in the Sesimbra Maritime Museum since 2005, and their museum was nominated for the European Museum of the Year in 2020. So let's welcome Andreia.
Welcome to Sesimbra Maritime Museum. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great honor to be here. And in behalf of Sesimbra Municipality and of Sesimbra Maritime Museum, I want to present, to do some zoom in to the work that we do with our community. So this is Sesimbra Maritime Museum. Has opened in 2016, but is the result of the work that Sesimbra Municipality has done with our maritime community by collecting objects for the last 40 years. We didn't have a proper building to host the museum, so in 2010 the opportunity came out, and a fort from the 17th century, the Fort of Santiago, just was empty, and we rebuilt it, and in the day 31st of May of 2016, the museum open to the public. Is the National Fisherman's Day. This is the image that you can see when you visit the museum. It's an open view to our beautiful ocean. And Sesimbra has 38 kilometers of coast, which is a national marine reserve. We have objects, the oldest object we have at the museum has 5,000 years old. You are looking now for one of the oldest hooks, fishing hooks that we have in Europe. These are copper hooks, and we have a gap of 5,000 years between those two types of hooks, which is remarkable. We have, one of the other topics of our exhibition is, of course, the boat building, traditional boat building in wood, and we have a huge ethnographical collection. But we have a problem. How? We have this very good collection, but we need to find strategies to communicate and to engage our community, because if we have beautiful objects in our exhibitions, they are simply objects. So me and my colleagues, our team, we invest many weeks, many months thinking before we opened the museum, how could we engage with our community and with our audiences? Because during summer, we have millions of tourists in Sesimbra. Sesimbra is 35 kilometers south of Lisbon, and during the months of July and August, we close the doors of the city, but they still coming. And we need to engage that audience as well. And so we create, in the first moment, those multimedia and digital solutions, those equipments, which they are very good, but they are not enough. I will point out, and I want to point out, the digital aquarium, where we have some of the main species that exist in our ocean, so people can enjoy them and know them better without having to scuba dive. And the solution we figured was to put the museums on the streets. What a better way to engage our audiences than leave our doors, leave the museum's walls, and go and meet the fishermen, the maritime community, the tourists. And we create special programs, non-formal educational programs to our students in order they visit the harbor, the piers, the places where fishermen are actually working, so they can engage with them and learn in the first person from the people that really knows the sea and the ocean. That was our objective, our goal is to create ocean literacy and maritime heritage literacy, teaching people or promoting this knowledge about the roots of our maritime heritage. And this morning, someone said that the ocean begins on the mountains. In Sesimbra, the ocean begins on the mountains, of course, but the ocean begins as well in the stories that our grandfathers, that our mothers tell us. Actually, in Sesimbra, the maritime heritage and the ocean begins at our hearts. So we start to connect with those maritime traditions as well, and some of them are being lost because Sesimbra has less than 5,000 inhabitants, and some of them just left to live in Lisbon, to live in another parts of the country, and old people didn't have the chance to continue with these traditions. So we support those traditions, and now you can have a traditional fishing stew, which the Portuguese name is caldeirada, in the streets where the fisherman still lives, which is very remarkable. And in this year, for the anniversary of our museum, which is the National Fisherman's Day as well, we create this program, this project, which is called Journeys of Histories of the Sea, where we collect in the first moment those stories among our community members, and then we exploit them. We ask people just to go to the streets and tell those stories to the people just that were passing by, and you are seeing the image of all of the volunteers. You can see old women, they are actually wives of the fishermen. You can see young people, you can see people with 40, with 50, you can see the staff of the museum as well. So we engage everyone. During a weekend, people were just on the streets telling stories of the sea. It was amazing. And that night we had theater on the streets, music. It was a very, very communitary project. And everyone contributed with a part. So, and we figured that if you go to the streets, eventually people come to the museum. And now we have these groups of volunteers, people teaching, sharing the knowledge with the students, with the children, with the public in general, how they used to do, and they used to do those fishing arts, those fishing objects, how the objects that we have in the permanent exhibition of the museum used to work, and we have this great community that participates every day at the museum life. During the pandemic, we engage our audience by creating content on the social networks. I think everyone have done the same because the museums were closed, but we ask our community to create content for the museum in order to share with our public. So we had 80 years old ladies that had a cell phone but never recorded nothing with a cell phone, recording some short films at home, teaching how to do the caldeirada, the traditional fish stew, or telling some stories, some family stories about the sea, sharing some memories. It was really amazing, and we managed to engage a larger audience, just asking the community to share what experience of their family and of their lives. We create our mascot called, it's an octopus, it's called Zefeng. He was named after a fisherman, a very famous fisherman in Sesimbra. He died 2 years ago, Mr. Zefeng You, and he was a very good friend of Sesimbra Maritime Museum. He built some nets, fishing nets, specifically for our educational department to use with the students, and we tried to honor him by creating this octopus. This image was taken in December, so Zefeng is dressed like Santa Claus. At the museum, we have some scientific programs. We have partnerships. We partner recently with Norway, with Norsk Maritime Museum, and with the Arctic University of Norway. We are doubling now our museum. We are going to create in 2024 the Cultural Coastal Center of Sesimbra, which is part of the project is funded by EE grants, and we create this actually is a magazine that comes out every year, and we invite different types of academics to produce knowledge about our maritime heritage in very different aspects. The name is Acra Barbarian because it's the Roman name of a cape that we have near, in our council, near the museum. And we support this project, which is called Miga, the sardine. Actually, the name in English is the sardine friends. It's a magnet. And the Miga is made by people with a mental condition, and we create the special miga of the Sesimbra Maritime Museum, and every miga is different and has some lines of the content of our permanent exhibition. So 2 weeks ago, I've been in Prague to the ICOM conference, and finally they approved the new concept, the new designation of museums. But we also discussed the power of the museums. We strongly think that the power of the museums is the bridges that we can build, the strength of the bridges we can build between our museums and our communities. Thank you so much. Obrigada, thank you, and well out, York.
Thank you very much, Andrea. And again, I will leave the question time maybe after this session.